Hello, and welcome to another episode of Theorycraft Thursday. This time I'll be doing the Ranger again, and you'll remember last time that I did the trap build. This is quite different from that, but before I jump into that right away, I just want to give a few kind of like disclaimer things. I didn't get Tryhard Tuesday out the last 2 days. I do apologize for that. I didn't record it on Tuesday because I was busy, and on Wednesday after I recorded it, the file corrupted. So I think that one's going to just float around for a while. It wasn't very good. That thief build kind of sucked, so if you really want to see it, I'll put it up there. Otherwise, that one might just skip off the books. And another thing, for some reason my game audio has not been recording. I know you guys like to have the game audio on top of my commentary and on top of my gameplay. I also prefer that. It hasn't been recording it though, for some reason. It's some weird issue between my headset and my laptop that I can't quite seem to resolve. So I do apologize for that, and I'll try to fix that when I can. And hope you guys can just deal with the sound of my voice as opposed to the sound of my voice and game effects. Because you're going to have to if you want to watch these for a little bit. Anyways, now, this build is more of a melee-oriented ranger. You've all seen it, the Greatsword Ranger. I'm not a huge fan of it. I've kind of tried to avoid its type of builds in the past. Granted, they are almost always purely signet builds, which I am not running for the sake of originality. And my offhand weapon is the longbow just because I honestly don't believe there's any reason not to really have it on your person at all times as a ranger because it's just very good. For utility skills, I'm running Troll Unguent, Quickening Zephyr, Signet of Stone, Protect Me, and Rampage is 1. I kind of always take Troll Unguent. People will argue that Heal as 1 is a better skill because of the flat heal and the not over time. I personally believe that Troll Unguent is more effective if you have a tankier build. If you're a squishier build and you're full range, then it kind of makes sense because you might need to shrug off that fat burst damage right away. But if you're in combat, sustained combat, and you have decent vitality, you have decent toughness, and you're not going to explode in 5 seconds, then I ultimately believe that the regen is better for you because it just keeps going throughout the entire fight. And it's, what do we got here? 856 heal per tick. You would be negating effectively up to 856 damage sometime, like every second when someone hits you. You kind of just instantly heal it off. So that kind of shrugs a one-sided, a 1v1 battle in your favor because you're actually almost not taking certain hits unless they're like smacking you for 1k every day or, whatever you want to call. But yeah. The other thing of note is Quickening Zephyr, because quickness is just ridiculous. You can't be healed during Quickening Zephyr, like it says, so unfortunately I can't regen while using Quickening Zephyr, but Quickening Zephyr is also very short. It's only 4 seconds long in duration. And 4 seconds of quickness with a weapon that hits as hard as the Greatsword on the Ranger basically equates to, not quite as much, but similar to the Frenzy Greatsword build for Warriors. And the damage is just incredible. I can go through this whole bar easily in 4 seconds and get off everything I need to in the correct rotation. So that's just very powerful to have. I don't suggest always using it because sometimes you're going to need to heal, but if you're in a situation where you think you can just bring the beat down, absolutely pop that. Its cooldown isn't really that bad. 1 minute is not bad. It's really just not in the grand scheme of a hot join PvP match or even a tourney, so that's good. The other notable combo here, Signet of Stone and Protect Me. You'll notice that Signet of Stone improves toughness for me and my pet. That's good in general because I'm melee and my pets are melee, so if we're taking a little bit less damage, that's obviously optimal. The active is where it really shines. Your pet takes no damage from attacks. You might go, alright, Sky, well, who cares? So what? Your bear doesn't die. Awesome. But Protect Me, instead of attacking, your pet will protect you by absorbing all damage you would take. So, I effectively become an invulnerable tank for the entire duration of 6 seconds. And I don't really have to explain to you how good that is. I'm up in the grill of, anywhere from 1 to 5 people because that's just how Hot Join works. And I'm just not taking damage from any sources at all. My pet's just like, yeah, what's up? I'm going to suck all that damage onto myself and we're not going to worry about it. So that's 6 seconds of uninterrupted damage. I could pop Quickening Zephyr during that time so that 4 of that 6 seconds I have quickness going. And it doesn't matter that I can't heal because I'm not taking damage. It's just very, very powerful. Very powerful. And, yeah. Because I kind of wanted to initially do a Beast Mastery spec, but I found it a little bit lacking, so I wanted to have kind of a more hand a greater hand in my ranger destiny than just relying on my pets. And of course, my elite rampage is 1. That's just good, especially for melee. Like, really just, it's not. Stability, always good if I want to finish someone off, if I want to chain finish people off. That's always nice. My pet choice, I didn't really have any sort of like decision-making process behind this. I just went bears because they have more health and they can tank more damage for me. I went Mermello because he is my favorite bear and he can poison, which is good because this build doesn't have much condition damage outside of bleed. And I also went polar bear so that I can chill because, I mean, when you're lowering people's cooldowns and their cast times, that's just very powerful. It's just very powerful, especially in a melee fight, because you're going to be going through your rotation a hell of a lot faster than they are, and that's just good. So that's my logic behind that. Now, for traits, I have 30 in marksmanship, 20 in wilderness survival, 20 in nature magic. In marksmanship, I'm taking Beastmaster's Bond, Signet Mastery, and Signet of the Beastmaster. Now, Signet of the Beastmaster is important because even though it's a little bit redundant, because when I have, when I have Signet of Stone and Protect Me, I'm already invulnerable. If for whatever reason I don't have Protect Me up, and I do have Signet of Stone up, I can pop Signet of Stone just for my own personal invulnerability. And, I mean, that's just good. Wilderness Survival, I take Shared Anguish. That's just very good, especially since the bear is tanky and can handle it. You can also swap your pet out after it gets disabled and then just kind of negate that disable. Martial Mastery, obviously. Nature Magic, I'm taking Nature's Bounty for Trolling Unit. And Enlargement, just because big bears. What are you going to do? My rune setup is Superior Runes of the Ogre. Power and Crit is generally what I need, so that kind of works out well for me in that respect. And the Summoning a Rock Dog is good. I've seen it used way more than I wish it was, but it's since been nerfed. So, not since this video, but back in the day it was kind of ridiculous. Every other hit was spawning rock dogs. There's rock dogs everywhere. It was a little bit out of control. My major thing with this is it's kind of an overrun build. I'm kind of thinking of Magic the Gathering, if any of you get that reference. And, yeah. Just, my bear, myself, and another rock dog all up in melee range. And, so yeah. Sorry for the long intro, but hopefully give you guys the information you need to appreciate the footage. And, alright, let's get to that. So, the Ranger build. Now, you'll notice I don't actually start out with the longbow, immediately equipped. The reasoning behind that is because I can use the 3 skill on the Greatsword for mobility, and I don't really need to rely on the cripple of the longbow, which is what I would typically use it for. It also has a long wind-up on that skill, so it's a little bit less reliable for catching people than it is for me to just, flying hawk body slam them. You'll see here, just in this kind of skirmish fight, I talked a little bit through it, but I popped my 3 skills in sequence. I popped my invulnerability for my pet, and then the invulnerability for myself. And then I used Quickening Zephyr so that I wasn't taking any damage, so the lack of healing didn't matter, and the damage I put out was just insane. This guy gets the snowman, because happy holidays, everyone. And the 3 skill is really kind of the whole basis here. Like, it's not my main focus of damage, but it kind of just does everything I need. It gets me away from fights, it initiates in fights, it chases, it deals AoE, it's just a good skill. And I spam it every time it's up, as you'll notice. This game, unfortunately, is a bit of a Zerg, so I can't take too much credit for, like, being dope and awesome, but it does showcase the build and what I need to get across to you people. And that is basically just, you need to be mobile all the time. You need to be very mobile. You need to be swinging around your targets, because even though it's a more tanky ranger build than you might see, you're not very tanky. At the end of the day, the rangers are just not an incredibly durable class unless you go out of your way to just make them durable and not do much else. So without my invulnerability, I do go down quite easily, and I gotta be a little safer about that. You'll notice it's a standard PvP tactic, but I'm constantly strafing around them when I'm attacking them just because that's better that I don't take those hits. And because the Greatsword also hits in an AoE, in large-scale fights, the more mobile I am, the more targets I'm hitting. Especially with the 2 skill, which bleeds, and, again, the 3 skill, which just is awesome, and I love it deeply. I don't use the 5 skill nearly as much as I should. It doesn't matter too much for the second effect, which is my pet deals extra damage on its next attack, because my bears are not really there for damage, so much as they are for soaking up damage. But the daze is very powerful, and you should always be using that when it's off cooldown if the chance presents itself. So I apologize for not using that more frequently. It is very strong. Mostly I use the 3 and the 4 skills. The 4 skill, the counterattack, very good. You can either use it to cripple a target running away from you, although be warned, there's a bit of a wind-up because you do go into the block stance before you are able to throw it. So there's a slight delay on your ability to cripple. You're better off using the cripple while you're close to them as they start running away than you are if they're already far. And the counterattack ability itself is, of course, just very good. You block a number of attacks, and blocking attacks is always good. Now, it's typically better for this build to fight 1 or 2 people. You can actually handle 2 people quite well simply because you have the pet and maybe the rock dog. 1 person is really no contest with this build. This build doesn't really ever lose 1v1 skirmishes because you have 2 or 3 things attacking 1 target, and with Rampage's 1 and Quickening Zephyr, you just put out enormous amounts of damage, and, you know, on the off chance that they also put out enormous amounts of damage, you can go invulnerable. So that's always nice. Like you'll see here, this is one of the very few times that I actually go down, and there's like 3 people involved here. But I'm still holding my own quite well until my teammates get up in there. And just all that AoE damage, big hits. I crit fairly often, as is expected because of my traits, but just, it's good. AoE crits, always good. Even though I knock the Greatsword a lot in some of my other videos, it is a very good weapon. I just feel like it's used a little bit more boringly. That's not a word, but it's not used as interestingly as I think it could be. It's just like, yeah, I'm going to put on all signets and then slap you because I got passive abilities, and I honestly don't believe that that is the right way to go about it. I believe it can be used in a little bit more of a utility way. You'll see that I use the 3 skill to move every time it's up. I use the counterattack to cripple more often than I use it to counterattack, just so I can cripple on a very long line. And the bleed can hit multiple targets, and it's a very strong bleed, actually, considering I don't have much condition damage spec, and this is not a condition damage build. And here's a few times I use the longbow. It does have its uses in this build. I do use it. You notice I knocked him away from rezzing his teammate. It's still good. The longbow is just a good weapon, in my opinion, and it always will be. And that's really it. It's not a complex build, but it is very effective, and I enjoy using it mostly because of the giant hawk body slam. It's very good in multiple person fights, and yeah, so I hope you enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, try it out, and peace.